Decision making is essentially the process of response selection, picking the right movement option to match the current circumstances. The quality of the decision that is made depends on the quality of the preceding perceptual judgments as well as the knowledge of what the costs and benefits associated with each particular option. The measure that is used to determine how quickly people can make decisions is called choice reaction time. Skilled sports players attempt to familiarize themselves with the preferred options and patterns to play of their opponents as a means of speeding up their own rates of responding. Conversely, a player who is able to execute with equal skill a wide range of options through having equal shots, passing, and dribbling skills on both sides of the body can maximize the amount of information that an opponent has to process and can thus substantially slow the speed of decision making of her opponent. So that first part, right. Deciding is it's choosing how you're gonna respond in the situation, right? Picking the right movement to match the current circumstances. And so we as people, we react in a certain amount of time. We can only react so fast. And a good example of this is in sports. So a player usually has their means of how they go about playing the best of their ability. They usually play their strengths. But in the situation, a player who is well-rounded, who has a lot of abilities they can choose from and execute, they have an advantage because a player who has to, let's say it's basketball players. A player who has a ball and who has a lot of skills dribbling, shooting, passing, their opponent, their defensive player, is going to have a hard time because they have to keep in mind this person can switch up their approach in many ways. They have different plays to make at any given moment. And so with that in mind, they have more to juggle. Is he going to dribble past me? Is he going to cross me? Is he going to go for a shot? If it's just one thing, okay, I know this guy is only good at shooting, so I don't have to worry about him dribbling past me. It's a different scenario. So this player who is well-rounded can use their multitude of skills to overload their defensive player and use that choice reaction to their advantage. Okay. Stages in typical information processing model continue. Acting. This organization involves sending from the brain motor commands that specify the order and timing of motor unit recruitment. If these efferent commands are not appropriately structured, the results in movement pattern may lack the force, timing, or coordination necessary to successfully realize the objective of the movement. All three central processes of perception, response, selection, and response organization and execution are completed before any observable muscle contraction takes place or whole body movement occurs. So yeah, just reiterating that everything we're talking about, it happens incredibly quick. It's one of the very impressive and amazing aspects of what our brains can do, because it takes in so much information, processes it, and comes with a choice and action within a matter of a second in some cases. Okay. And the speed and accuracy of which movements can be executed and controlled depends on several factors, including the complexity of the movement, the number of joints, muscles, and motor units involved, plus the difficulty their coordination may pose for the maintenance of posture and balance, the time constraints imposed on the movement, and the acceptable margins for the error in movement. Okay. And the last slide is second to last. Alternative models of model control. Dynamic models of movement control propose that movement patterns are not represented anywhere in the central nervous system by way of plan or program, but rather emerge naturally or self-organized out of the physical properties of the musculoskeletal and related systems. The emergence of complex patterns of organization out of the motor system, such as the complex movement patterns that characterize GATs such as walking and running, are considered to be no more in need of a pattern representation or template than non-biological systems such as chemicals, which under appropriate environmental conditions are able to organize and reorganize into complex patterns without the need of a nervous system. For example, under appropriate environmental conditions, water may undergo complete pattern reorganizations without the form of a new pattern being anywhere explicitly stored or represented. So this model is saying that instead of our brain going in stages of processing information, these things happen naturally. Happens very naturally. There's no need for a system to explain it. And so the comparison of a computer isn't accurate. And so that's what that's basically saying. Okay. And so to review, first question, the importance of models of motor control. So the importance of motor control models is to simplify a complex system, right? To capture the key properties, to make a comparison, and not to take it literally, just to complement similarities to help understand the complex system. That's the importance of them, and they are helpful when they're done so in their respective bounds. What are three of the key properties that must be explained by the models of motor control? Okay, so some of those models were, again, some of those key properties were degrees of freedom, motor equivalence, serial order, perceptual motor integration, right? That's just a few of them there. What 3 steps did the basketball player perform in the example? So remember, he did 3 things. He perceived what was happening, he decided what action he was going to take, and then he acted. And all of these mental processes happened before he made any movements. That's the very interesting part. That's how quick the brain takes in, processes information, and comes out with an output, which is how you respond. And the alternative model of motor control is called what again? Dynamic models. And that is it for today.